you still managing projects across 5 different apps and wondering why your team looks like they're starring in a slow motion disaster movie? Well, you're definitely not alone, but you are overdue for an upgrade. In this video, I'm going to show you how migrating to ClickUp could be the best operational glow up your agency has ever seen, and how to pull it off without the chaos, confusion, and hair pulling that usually comes with a major system change. We've helped hundreds of companies migrate their teams from other tools to ClickUp, and there are key phases that you need to implement for the smoothest transition. So with that, if you're ready to ditch the duct tape workflows and build something stronger that will last, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and let's dive in. Let's get one thing straight. Migrating to ClickUp doesn't fail because ClickUp isn't powerful. It fails when agencies skip the people part of the process. Resistance, messy data, unclear expectations. It's a change management problem, not a software problem. But when done right, this becomes the single most valuable upgrade to how your agency runs. So the truth is, the real reason that ClickUp migrations fail is not about the tool, it's about the transition. So that's why I'm creating this video today, to talk about our approach to make sure that your transition to ClickUp is a slam dunk success. So now I want to walk you through the 4-phase migration plan that we take all of our clients through as we're transitioning their agency to ClickUp. So the first step is we start with the plan. Then we move on to the build. We then have a very structured and strategic rollout. And then finally, we optimize once everyone's in the tool. This is the exact blueprint that we use to move agencies from scattered chaos to ClickUp clarity. Whether we're transitioning them from another tool to ClickUp, or scattered spreadsheets and Slack messages, or maybe they're using ClickUp already but really struggling with adoption. This is exactly how we move them and transition them into seamless workflows without slowing the business down. So let's walk through each phase together. I'm going to show you some core examples inside the tool itself. So in phase 1 is when we plan and align. This is when we go through our process discovery process, which is really like starting with an audit. During our auditing process, I'll show you what the final product looks like. We actually use Miro boards for this. We list every tool, every workflow, every place that work gets lost or duplicated. And then we define success. Maybe it's slashing project delays by 25%, or finally being able to see capacity across teams in real time. After we map out the current state, we then map out the ideal future state. We're very adamant about not just copying and pasting what you were doing. This is your chance to fix your broken systems. This is where we want to take our first crack at how can this be better? How can this be optimized, more automated? So let's dive into a Miro example of what one of these process maps look like. So here we are in an example current state Miro board process map, where we're mapping out the process of a lead flow for a client. So here we're saying, okay, the process starts in Go High Level. A lead signs up to be contacted. The record's created in Go High Level with the contact details, and then the team will go in and they'll review the lead. They'll then print out a physical document of this pink slip information, and then they'll call the customer. While they're on the phone with the customer, they're physically filling out this form. Did the client answer or not? Yes or no? When they fill out the pink slip, then they'll decide as a team, is this client a good fit? Yes or no? And then they'll update the status in Go High Level and schedule the patient onboarding. So this is where we're mapping out and just saying, okay, from our discovery call where we went through the process of what you're currently doing, we then take this board to be like, is this exactly what you do? We have it clear as day. And then from here, we're then able to audit their process and be like, okay, what pieces of this can we now bring in to ClickUp? So now let me show you what a future state Miro board would look like. Okay, so here we are, and you're looking at an end state, right? So as I zoom in, this is not the same process, just another example. You can now see this is actually an entire process for a talent agency. So we have the sales process flow, the talent process flow, legal, etc. And as I zoom in here, you can see where ClickUp has now been integrated. So the legal team reviews a contract request and updates the status in ClickUp to contract review. The contract is sent via email, update the ClickUp status to approve for signature. Then, we upload it to the drive and ClickUp status to fully executed, closed, etc. So as we're looking at this end-to-end process, you're going to see the different places where ClickUp and the other tools and automations have been baked into this process to make everything flow so much more seamlessly. Next, we move on to phase 2, where we build and migrate. After we map out our ideal scenario, then we build the scaffolding in ClickUp. Remember, keep it lean. One workspace, a few clear spaces, use folders for clients, departments, teams, different categories that make sense, and create master folder or list templates to reuse across the entire account. And before you go crazy, don't import everything at once. We want to start with one client, one project, or one team. Think of it like a test kitchen. So let me show you some core examples of what a standardized ClickUp hierarchy can look like. So let's walk through what an actual executed and built out ClickUp could look like. So as I mentioned, you're going to have one main workspace. You'll see this is our DL training workspace. On the left-hand side, you'll see the different spaces that we have in here and we suggest for most agencies and companies, but of course, everyone's different. So having a space for operations, that's the operations department, business development, client fulfillment, marketing and PR, programs and courses, if you have a program or a course, and resources and trainings. So if I come into operations, you'll see the different type of hierarchy that I could have here. So the folders will just break down another level of organization. So say in operations, we want all of the places where we have team management. So we have the company calendar, team meetings, team database, bug tracker, roles and responsibilities, org chart, etc. Then we have hiring. What current roles are we hiring for? Team task lists, etc. Then when you get into, let's use client fulfillment as one more example. And here you're going to have your client database. So you can see all of your active clients, who's onboarding, what are the things we have to do, having the client health, their codes, some pertinent information about them, the purchases, etc. And then you can also manage not only, obviously, this general information about them, but then their tasks and projects and deliverables that you're fulfilling for them. So what that could look like is, let's pop into the client management template. In here is where you can see this is where we have our process mapped out, just like we had in those Miro boards. What are the different tasks and milestones that have to happen during a project? What are the statuses that all of these may go through? What are the automations that once it's going from one person to the next, when it's hitting different statuses, who's getting tagged next in line? And so you can see the different elements we have here. Who's assigned, what's the due date, what's the progress of this task or deliverable. Now here you're looking at more of like a pipeline of all the tasks and what statuses they're under. But you can also do something like have a project management template. This is also free in our shop, by the way, where it's grouped by phases. So during that process, you're going to decide, is this more of a process that's ongoing and more of a pipeline? Or is this process and project in the company more of a start and end initiative or campaign? So you're going to map those out differently. And as you can see, these are just a few core examples. I just want to bring light to what this can look like. But of course, this is going to look different for your team, your agency, and your projects. The goal is, though, that you can map out what this process looks like so it's standardized across the board. Whether you're saving this as a project template by going to the list settings, templates, and saving it as a template so you can run this back next time you have that type of project, Or if it's a pipeline, like how we showed you the Miro board for a sales pipeline, every time a lead comes in, what's the process for that, right? Once it goes to sent scheduler, do we want to have automated follow-ups going out or automated reminders for the team to send a personalized follow-up? So it may not be that you're, duplicating the leads pipeline every week, but instead you're having these standardized automations and action items happening in your tool without you having to think of them and things being lost and slipping through the cracks. Remember that the goal is to standardize, not over-engineer. We want one workspace, core spaces, and using templates so we're not recreating the wheel each time. Yes, there's absolutely a place for robust workflows and advanced automations, and we build them often for our teams. But a lot of times we get in and people have overcomplicated things and really inflated their ClickUp with too many spaces, folders, and lists. And our first step is to condense everything. How can we make things more unified and simplified so the team only has to go to a couple main places to view their work? Then we move on to phase 3, the training and the rollout. Now, every single phase is so important, but making sure you're setting your team up for success is absolutely key to encourage adoption. Because the truth is, ClickUp fails when the team doesn't know how to use it. So make training real, relevant, and role-based. Live sessions, short screen recordings, and bite-sized guides are what's going to work best. You want to make sure you're not drowning your team with a bunch of useless information that's not relevant to them. Only give them what they need. So roll it out by team, and once everyone's trained, cut the cord on your old tools. So let me walk through what a SOP and training library can look like for your team. So as I mentioned, every single piece of this migration is key, but making sure you're setting your team up for success and setting them up with granular training videos and documentation is absolutely crucial. Everyone learns differently, everyone processes differently. So if you just have, one 60-minute training session where you're like, okay, here's ClickUp, here's how it rolls, and then you leave it to them to figure out, you're setting them up for failure. So this is why we recommend always having at least one SOP library. You can even have different SOP libraries broken down by different departments, depending on how many SOPs you have. That way, this is searchable and you're easily able to track the SOPs, also have statuses for who's working on what SOPs have to be created, etc. This is also a free template in our shop, so feel free to check it out. I'll make sure to link it in the description. And let me just quickly show you what this looks like. So in resources and trainings, this is where you're going to tell your team, hey, this is where you can go to access all of the training materials you need, whether it's customer service FAQs, company wiki, SOP videos, etc. Then you can have a library that breaks down, okay, here are the different SOPs for each department or for each category within a department, right? Maybe you have one that's client delivery SOP library, and in there you have client onboarding, client implementation, offboarding, customer support, etc. From here, this is searchable, right? So maybe I'm looking at the SOP for the sign-off process. I can just search it here, and then this is where you can click in and see the SOP for that information. So you can either have the information in a video, you can also have it written here. Loom is what we use for our SOPs, and we absolutely love it. You can easily generate this documentation with the click of a button once you record the Loom, but you can also use ClickUp clips as well. So in the left sidebar, you can go to clips. You can just record really quick using the button here, clips, and do the same exact thing with Loom by recording your screen. So the goal here is that everyone has a library to be able to access that documentation. They're not sifting through Google Drive. And then what's great about this is you can actually copy the link to the SOP and add that wherever these tasks actually exist, whether it's in a project template or a task template. That way, when you need to update the process, You don't have to go back to every document and every task and every template where this exists. It's actually dynamic and it will update in real time because the base of that SOP lives in one task, not scattered across all different documentation. Remember that adoption equals impact. This happens with live demos, team playbooks, and no more parallel tools. Now, don't get me wrong, ClickUp is not going to be the only tool in your tech stack, but our goal here is that ClickUp becomes your central source of truth where all of your tools are integrated seamlessly. And last but certainly not least is phase 4. Optimize and scale. We always say that when we're rolling out the brand new shiny ClickUp to our teams, this is draft 1. This is what we built upon our agency expertise. This is what we built according to your team's needs and what we all imagined together. But once you're all in the tool, this is when we can decipher what's working and what's not. So let's make it stick. This part is absolutely crucial because we don't just want to roll out this new tool and be like, okay, good luck. We want to monitor adoption. We want to continue refining, continue adding automation and optimization after the team is confident. Once they get in, they actually start using it, they're going to be able to clearly see what's missing and what they want. Not only is this first 60 to 90 day period absolutely crucial that you are on it and monitoring the team, making sure that they're giving feedback, but then after that, we also want to make sure that you schedule quarterly audits. And one of the most crucial pieces is letting leadership lead by example. If your executive team is still using spreadsheets, the migration is already failing. So a couple different resources I want to show you when it comes to monitoring adoption and ClickUp usage. So here I'm going to show you through a COO/manager dashboard example. In dashboards are fantastic because you can take data from the entire workspace and just visualize it how you need. So if I click on add card, you can see all the different options that I have to add here. And this can be privated just to the COO or managers as well. So here are just a couple core examples. You can see task by assignee, right? So once you have everything mapped out in a clear system, you are going to easily be able to do workload and capacity management. Being able to see that, wow, Christy and Jeff are really overloaded with tasks. How can we delegate and offload some of these things to different team members or maybe hire more support for those specific things? So you're going to have them mapped out clear as day. Who's overdue on tasks? Again, is this something because they're overpacked, right? And they don't have the capacity to get everything done? Or maybe they're not using ClickUp properly, or maybe this is giving you insight and red flags into who's actually not getting their job done or missing pieces of the process. You can then have different KPIs, project overviews, what's in progress, what's done, what's overdue. How long have things been sitting in different statuses where you can reduce those bottlenecks, and then also seeing like who's behind, who has unread inbox notifications or overdue tasks. Here you can get just that glimpse here and then be able to check in with those specific people. So not only having a place where you can monitor and see, okay, how is the team performing? Where are they getting stuck? Where is there room for optimization? But then also making sure you're gathering feedback from the team. So you can also, let me show you an example of a ClickUp form. You can have a team feedback form. Now this is related to, just how are things going related to your workload, but you can create this as well for, how are things going with ClickUp implementation? Where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel like you need more support? As we're training our teams, we always say our goal is to make your life easier, not harder. We want to make sure that they know this isn't just another tool to be micromanaging people, but instead it should be increasing their time and capacity because everything's organized. There's so many things that are automated. So having an anonymous form, or it could be not anonymous, depending on if you want to follow up with them. You can create forms in ClickUp that's like, hey, what's working, what's not? So then they know that they feel heard. So aside from just quarterly check-ins and, having that 60-day window where you roll it out to the team and you're working on optimizations, everything like that, having, regular check-ins with the team to tell them, hey, we're listening, we hear you, we want to know what's working and what's not, is going to go a long way. And remember that ClickUp should grow with you. This includes doing quarterly audits. What's working, what's not, where do we have to optimize and automate more? Make sure that you have key dashboards for visibility so you can see where projects are lagging, who's overloaded with tasks, and other key KPIs and metrics that help you make data-driven decisions. And ClickUp is constantly releasing new features, which is so amazing, but make sure you're taking the time to have continuous training for ClickUp and the other tools in your tech stack. You want to make sure you're staying up to date on all the amazing features that are coming out so you can make sure that you're optimizing your ClickUp for your agency. So this is the time to envision your agency rebuilt. When your agency successfully runs in ClickUp, it doesn't just look more organized, it is more organized. Your team collaborates in one place. Your operations scale with ease, and your clients, they notice the difference. This isn't just about adding another tool to your tech stack. It's about giving your agency the operational backbone it needs to scale. Your agency doesn't need band-aids, it needs a backbone. And migrating to ClickUp the right way is how you future-proof your operations for growth, agility, and less 3 a.m. where is that file panic attacks. Whether you're ready to DIY, want a custom roadmap, or just need a nudge in the right direction, we've got you covered. All the links on how we can support you is in the description below. And know that if this sounds super overwhelming to you, again, we have helped hundreds of teams migrate from other tools to ClickUp seamlessly, and we'd love to help you do the same. So book a call with us so we can chat about what this transition can look like for your agency. Now's the time to streamline, scale, and finally breathe again. Let's build the agency you've been trying to manage into existence. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you're always in the loop about other agency and ClickUp tips and tricks. With that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.